G'day and welcome back to Foord Offroad, my 6 litre LS Patrol build. Today I finally have an engine crane, so this is going in the car. What I'm going to do though, before it goes in, is change the intake manifold gasket because the one I had last time was wrong. And been to see Simon at Repco, and he's got me the right one, so we'll chuck that in first. Before I can put the engine in the engine bay, now pull the bull bar off and put my little wheels back on so that I can actually lift it over the front of the car. Before I put the new bell housing on, the Mark's adapter's bell housing, got to take this input shaft cover plate off because that's kind of inbuilt to the new bell housing. New seal in the back of the bell housing. Make sure it's clean. Right. Just a little bit of silicone, eh? Some bolts ready. Gonna pull the clutch master off now because Mark's gives you a new one. One off. New one on. Mark's also gives you a new braided line. The other one goes on the bell housing. The bell housing all done, clutch master and that braided line. So finally we can put the engine in. Waylo here to help me, little nephew, interested in cars. So I'm going to teach him about cars. Or at least all the swear words you use when you're working on them, eh? Anyway, get on engine crane, put in engine. I'm not going to go down all the way, I'm just going to go down a little bit. It's going to hit that bit at the back.
Pardon?
Is it going to hit that bit at the back that I just put in? So I haven't put the input shaft in yet because I've got to, some of you probably noticed watching the video, but I've got to pull the engine back out anyway because you've got to tack the mounts, then pull the engine out and then weld them. So when I put it back in for the last time, I'll put the input shaft in. Otherwise I won't be able to drive. Engine's in, mounts are kind of in the right spot. I'm just going to play around with them a bit more and then tack them in place. And then pull the engine back out. It is supposed to, see it's not dead center, it is supposed to sit a little bit more to the passenger side of the car. Well, that's what Mark's tells you anyway. So I'm just, going to tack them and then pull it back out. The mounts are tacked in there. Just going to fully weld them in now and then prime and paint the welds. And before I put the engine back in, I'm going to pull this back plate off and replace the rear main seal. Alright, I'm going to weld, Welding.
What?
I'm going to weld.
Yeah.
Got your eyes. Should always wear leather clothing when you're welding too. At least I got work boots on. Just going to change this backing plate with the rear main seal in it. What are you doing, Ivor? an oil filter bypass. We'll replace that with a machined billet alloy one. Bit of silicone in the where the sump attaches. It's in the corners.
We need to change the spirit bearing, but we don't have the tool, so we're just going to put it back in the car.
Change that rear main seal plate and the oil filter bypass plunger bit. I don't have the puller to get the spigot bearing out, and I don't want to put the flywheel, the clutch and everything on, and this input shaft and get everything lined up and in there, and then have to pull it apart again to change that. So for now we're just going to put it in the car so I can say that the engine is in the car. And then in the next video or whenever I get around to it, I'll pull it back out, change that, put the clutch and everything on, line it up and bleed it. Think that's a good plan? Good plan? Let's do that. Six-litre LS is officially in the patrol. Mounts are fully welded in, that's fully bolted in. There's no flywheel or clutch on it. Still got to pull it out and back in a couple of times. But I'll get an idea for headers. I don't know if I'm going to make or buy headers, still haven't decided that. And get an idea for where some wiring is. I can start putting the front back together. Probably won't do that. Anyway, that's the main bit, is that the engine's in there. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm happy with that. If you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you want to see the rest of the build, like and subscribe. And if you want to see Waylon crash a motorbike, also like and subscribe. Just like and subscribe anyway.